Welcome to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten.
Hi, I'm Wendy. After I graduated with my master's in wellness management, I started my own company, T2 Coaching, health, fitness, and sport.
And I'm Kirsten, an athlete, vegan, life coach, and girl mom, running a business focused on helping others create a life they love.
We are here to explore all things wellness to help you become the person you've always wanted to be.
So if that's why you're here, open your ears and your mind as we tackle the world of wellness together. Hey everyone. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Kirsten. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm a little frazzled because I was not supposed to have my daughter today. She was supposed to be with her dad, and she's out of school, and he couldn't take her, and my mom is out of town. So I've been dragging her around with me to all my jobs all day because I didn't think I had her. So I actually scheduled some extra private lessons and sub the class and stuff. So it was a little more than I bargained for on this day that was supposed to be a little more relaxing, but I'll take it. It's all good. That's actually what I was thinking my wellness win was today, is that the last couple days have not, this whole week has not really gone as planned. And I didn't really freak out. I've been more go with the flow, and it is what it is. And we've talked about how, especially once you have kids, your schedule isn't always your own. And I've been a little more accommodating and malleable than I probably have been in the past. So wellness win for me.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm sure the people who you teach classes with are your friends, and they know you and they get it, and they have kids, and it's understandable.
Right.
And it's not a big deal. And kudos, you get to spend more time with your daughter.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. So she was supposed to spend the night at her dad's last night, and she asked if she could spend the night at my house instead.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I had other plans. I was going to get up early this morning and do my workout and, other things. But I thought that same thing. I was like, she's not going to always want to spend extra time with me.
Right.
And I know enough from, all my friends having older kids that it's not forever that she's going to be like, I want to spend time with my mom. So I'm like, just enjoy it while it's here, suck it up, make some changes, and enjoy the moment with someone who loves me and wants to spend time with me.
Right.
So what is your wellness win?
Well, it has to do with my sport, running. So I did 2 races since we last spoke. I did a 30K, which was 20 miles. It was a 30K that I did in 2020, and I knocked off 17 minutes.
Oh my God.
And someone pointed out to me, that's like almost a minute per mile.
Oh my
And I'm
God.
like, oh my God, that sounds bigger than I actually realized. So
Right.
It was a trail run. It was a trail run, and it was really fun. And then I did the turkey trot. It was a 10K. And the last time I did it was in 2023, and I didn't participate in 2023. No, last time I did it was 2022 before I broke my knee. So I missed it in 23 and 24. Did it this year, and I was 30 seconds faster than I was in 2022.
Nice.
So I went back, and I'm looking at all the races that I've done this year that have been similar to what I did in 2022, and I'm beating all my times.
Oh my God.
And so
That's so awesome.
I'm proving everyone right that I am coming back stronger. But more importantly to me is I'm 3 years older, and I'm in my 50s. I'm still getting older. It's not like I'm 32 I was 32 and I'm 35 years old. I was 49 at my peak before I broke my knee. And I'm doing races that I did that year faster. So I was really excited because I knocked myself out. I'm exhausted today. I'm noticing as when I knock myself off in a 5 or 10K, like totally go 120%, I'm more tired than if I do a 20-mile run at a easy to moderate pace.
Right.
It's definitely different as you're older. So I was really, really happy about those 2 races that I did. The gratitude of just being able to run healthy and appreciate, where I am now relative to where I've been in the last, 3 years. And, I'm really grateful that I live close to my family, so I don't have to travel over the holidays. So that's always a wellness win. We got together at my house. It was just the 5 of us, my mother, my sister, my niece, and Dawn and me. So it was really relaxing turkey day.
I saw your pictures. They looked amazing.
Oh, thank you. Okay, speaking of pictures, before we
Okay.
got on this call, we were talking about backgrounds because lately I've been at Lifetime and I've had a different background. We're under house renovation, so some of my backgrounds we just don't have walls, and sometimes they're windows and light and whatever. I'm looking at you, and you look white to me, and your reflection, I think, of your white shirt. And
Right.
when I'm looking at me right now, I feel like I'm look tan, and I think it's the reflection of the shirt I'm wearing. I don't know if it looks like that to you, but when I'm looking at both of our pictures in this video, you look white, I look tan.
Right. That's funny. Well, I am white because I haven't been outside in a few no. It actually has been super nice. I did a 5K yesterday and it was like I was wearing my tank top and my shorts and I was fine in the 5K.
It was so cold here. I wore tank top and shorts in my 20 miler trail race. It was beautiful. Yesterday, it was the wind chill was really cold. I mean, it was probably 30 degrees when I ran my 10K, but the wind chill made it feel pretty cold, which is kind of normal for Georgia. This time of year it comes and goes.
Yeah,
Like we had some 30 degrees, and then we had some back up to 80s, and now we're down to 30s again. You just never know.
right.
But it felt good to be cold.
Yeah, it's going to be this whole next week is going to be like 20 degrees. So it hasn't been cold here in Colorado yet and it's almost December and we haven't had any snow and we haven't had any really cold days, but this week it's not supposed to snow, but it's supposed to be like under 20 degrees every day for the next 7 days.
Nice. I remember when we were in Kona, the years I always went to Kona in October, it usually would snow in Colorado while I was
Yeah,
in Kona.
I know. And then you're like, yes, I'm glad I missed it.
Yes.
Yes. So you guys, we have gotten a lot of requests to talk about swimming, and we figured that this is the perfect time to talk about it because we are going into the month of December. And the last several years, Wendy and I have done big challenges for swimming in December. We nicknamed it De-Swimber, and we started calling that a few years ago. And Wendy could tell you her reasons, but one of the reasons that I swim a lot in December is to give the rest of my body a break from biking and running. And so I do a heavy, I typically, I don't run at all in December, but I'm trying something different this year. And I'm still going to run once a week. I'm going to still do the 5K once a week at the park run. And just to maintain that, it's just once a week, but I'm going to try to swim every day. So I've done that the last few years where I've swam maybe 28 out of 31 days in December. And I do it to give myself a break, and I love to swim, and I like a challenge, and it still works with because Wendy and I talk about like some of our challenges we don't do anymore because they don't work with our lifestyle or just don't want to do them anymore. Neither one of us do the swim the year that's coming up on New Year's Eve because that would be 26,000 meters this year. And neither one of us have any interest in that. But I am for sure still doing the 10,000 on Christmas Eve. And I'll probably do another sort of like fun big swim on New Year's Eve, just not 26,000.
Right. So I'm going to jump in there. So
Yes.
I think we started the original 100 hundreds. I read a blog from Tim Hola from Team Timex. He's a swimmer, and he swims 100 hundreds on Christmas Eve. And I'm like, I'm a swimmer. I should be doing that. So
Right.
we started doing that, and then we rang in, I think 2011 or 2012. That's when we started the New Year's Eve
Yeah.
challenge.
Yep.
And we retired it. I remember retiring it in 2023. So 23,000 was the most. I'm like, I got up to a half marathon. That's good enough. And then I also created some videos, I think in 2016, and they're loaded on the Endurance Hour YouTube. I did a 21-day swim challenge where I'd swim a 100 of something, and I'd get out of the pool and add a strength movement because people complained of not knowing what to do for strength training, and triathletes don't like to swim. So I was trying to, day one I did, let's say 100 swim, and then I did some tricep dips. Day two, I did 100 swim plus 100 kick, tricep dips and push-ups. Day three, I did 100 swim, 100 kick, 100 pull, triceps dips, push-ups, and squats. You get the idea.
Right.
I would do what I did the day before and I'd add something. So I came up with a 2100 workout with
And then
21
21 different
body
exercises.
weight strength. I thought it was a phenomenal, awesome idea. And I still have those videos on the Endurance Hour YouTube because I didn't
Oh,
have my
nice.
YouTube channel. They're still there. And then in I think 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I did a 31-day challenge. I uploaded 31 videos, more educational. Like the first week was all skills and drills. And I talk about the workout of the day. I did 31 different workouts. The first week with skills and drills. The second week incorporated endurance. The third weekend incorporated strength. The fourth week incorporated threshold and speed workouts. And I have a program, 101 swim workouts that I created. And so I just really was going out of my way. And all these videos are on Endurance Our YouTube channel to really motivate people to swim and do strength training, because swimming, you're less daylight in December. The weather changes. People are more automatically more indoors. What better way to work on your swim fitness than the month of December?
Yeah.
And
I
for
like
you,
that.
for someone like me and you, it's a break from our other activities. Like I have my big race of the year on December 6th. So I'm going to take a break from running, and then I'll just start swimming more to get ready to not be out of shape, completely out
Right.
of shape for 100 100s, which I was invited to do 100 100s with my friend John at his club. They do it the 22nd. He's like, oh, you should come do it with us. And I'm like,
Ooh.
I'm so out of swimming shape right now, but why not? And then
Yeah.
I'll always do it on December 24th, because just like not doing a turkey trot on Thanksgiving doesn't feel like Thanksgiving. Not
Right.
swimming 100 100s on Christmas Eve doesn't feel like Christmas Eve.
Right. Right. So yeah, one of the things I've added for the Christmas Eve is the kids I coach the last few years, I've been inviting them. And they don't have to do 100 100s because some of them are 10 years old, and that's a lot for a 10-year-old, but they'll come in and do a challenge. And it's really cool because the first year I opened it up to the kids. I had these two girls, I believe they were 14 at the time, and they did 4,000
Nice.
total. And they were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. The next year they came and did 6,000. The next year they came and did 8,000. And last year they both came as 18-year-olds and swam the whole 10,000.
I love that. That's awesome. So many people we've recruited
Yeah.
from where I live now and where you still live in Colorado. People just join us from where they're at.
Right.
Athletes I coach, I always put it on their Training Peaks accounts. Whether they want to do it or not, I'm going to put it on their
Right.
Training Peaks accounts. And it's just fun to see such a big triathlete swimming community celebrating with 100 100s sometime during the month of December. Some do it January 1st, which again, same idea. So I just think it's a lot of fun. It's a good challenge that people have completed.
Yeah. And you guys, if 100 sounds like impossible for you, that's okay. You don't have to 100 100s. Think about if you just did 2100s. Like that's, and you don't have to do it on an interval if you don't want to do it on an interval. Wendy, I don't do it on an interval as much anymore because now that I've invited the kids come and go, and I'm actually always jumping out of the pool, and like I have them bring a snack. So I'm helping them set up, putting them in a lane with somebody similar. But Wendy does it on a time interval so she can get it over with.
So my goal, not to only get it over with, I still do 100 100s. My time goal is always 130. I do as many as I can without toys. I used to be able to do them all without toys, meaning fins and paddles. But as I've gotten older and as I've gotten more and more out of swimming shape, because this is my ultra running season, I don't swim much. I allow myself to use fins and paddles if I need to, but I'll still always start out with no equipment. And I like to just say, how old am I going to be when I can't make 130 send off? It's an age thing. I want to see if I can still maintain. Still got it. I always say I still got it.
Right.
How much do I still have? So the longest I've taken was 2 hours and 45 minutes to complete 100 meters. One thing I want to mention before I forget, because I already forgot, an athlete I know, Becca, I coach her. They do theirs today, the day after Thanksgiving. And at their master's group, they do them on the 130. So if you can't do hundreds on the 130, you do 75s. If you can't do 75s on the 130, you do 50s. So everyone picks 50s, 75s, or 100s. So they all are on the 130 send off. So they all start and stop together. So that's a 2.5 hour swim. Whether you do 50s, 75s, and 100s, it's very inclusive. And that's what she's doing today.
That's what Fast up in Fort Collins,
Yes, she's
Fast
swimming
Masters,
fast. Yeah,
they oh, okay, then yeah,
she
because
swims
that's what they
fast.
do. They always do it on the Friday after Thanksgiving. And yeah, so when you were saying that, I was like, oh, that's exactly what Fast
Yeah,
does. But
that's what
if
she
you're swimming
swims.
with Fast, then yes, I know that. So yeah, super, super fun. And it gets you motivated because a lot of people we know, it's hard to do things on your own sometimes. Like Wendy and I are kind of an anomaly in that way, and that we kind of like being by ourselves and doing our workouts on our own. But more people than not that I know want to drag somebody in it with them. So grab your friends, pick a date in December, maybe when you have a little more time or you have time afterward to take a nap, and pick a number that is a challenge for both of you. Say, okay, we're going to do 40 100s on the 2 minutes. And then you could change equipment if you get tired of doing no equipment, or if you want to add fins to make a couple easier, or do a kick set with fins, or however you want to do it. It's just a way to structure something that is going to be a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So we invite you to join us into Swimber and challenge yourself and swim more than usual. And I know a lot of you guys are like, I don't know what to do. What do you mean swim more than usual? I can barely swim. I don't know what drills to do. I haven't had a lesson. I'm just a slow swimmer. And Wendy and I have both been swim coaches for probably a combined total of 50 years easily. And we were both swimmers growing up. Wendy was a collegiate swimmer. So we wanted to offer some advice and some help in structuring your workouts. And since both of us talk about this being our off season, and a lot of the athletes we coach off season is a great time to swim and work on your technique. And without us seeing you swim, we don't know specifically what you need to work on. But I was thinking we could each mention a few of our favorite drills that would help anybody. Like, no matter what your technique looks like, if you need work on technique, Wendy and I have some drills that we're like, okay, 90% of the people I see definitely need this drill. So why don't we each pick 3 of our favorite, and we'll stick with freestyle because a lot of you guys are triathletes, and learning a whole nother stroke right now might be a little too much. So Wendy, what are your 3 favorite freestyle drills and why?
I have 2 of my signature drills. I know other coaches use them now. I've had mine for like 20 years. So I feel like I haven't stole any drills from anyone, but people have different names for them. I like the head out of the water drill. So it's you think of it as like Tarzan. Most people know what Tarzan swimming is, but it's different because it works on hand entry. I think hand entry is the most underrated stroke technique that coaches work on. And hand entry is so important because it sets you up for a stronger catch or setup. They mean the same thing. And the catch and setup set you up for a stronger pull. So the head out of the water drill, my signature drill, and then also on top of that is,
Before you explain, because there might be somebody listening that doesn't know what that drill is. So
I
explain how
know,
to do that drill.
they're going to swim with their head out of the water. They're going to have their arms really fast, and they're going to go on short, choppy strokes where they enter and dig, 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 and they're focusing on their hand entry. Everything else, don't focus on anything else. Just dig, 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 dig. And
And you keep your head out of the water. I know
and you
that's
keep your
obvious
head
from
out
the
of the
title,
water,
but
but
somebody might
it's a
not.
3-part. It's a 3-part drill, but it's an easy drill. I usually go straight to it when I do private lessons because that's what I know that people need to work on. And then you incorporate it into your stroke, and you go forehead out, forehead in, forehead out, forehead in, but you maintain that faster arm turnover, and then you maintain that hand entry. And you're going to feel yourself pulling more water because it helps you create that paddle, that what's called high elbow catch that people talk about. It's going to help you create that. Fist drill does a similar thing. So a lot of people, a common drill is also fist drill that works on the same thing in a different way.
And explain what fist drill is for the people who don't know.
Is you have your hands closed, fists. You could hold on onto a tennis ball. Does the same thing, but you want your hands fist the whole time, because then you lose your paddle, which is your hand, and it forces you to create that high elbow catch before your push.
So you're swimming freestyle just with your hands closed.
Yeah.
Do you remember back in the olden days, they had those fist gloves?
Yeah. Remember Donna? That just reminded me of Donna.
Yeah.
What was Donna's last name?
Whittington.
Donna Whittington had
She
them.
just sent me, I just got a Christmas card from her like 2 days ago. Every year we send each other Christmas cards.
Oh,
I
that's
love it.
fantastic.
Isn't that
Tell her to
awesome?
send me
Like
that.
she was
Yeah.
my client like 30 years ago. No, 20
She
years
had
ago,
she
25
had the
years.
gloves. I
She did have the
can't
glove.
remember. I associate Donna Whittington with the fist gloves.
That's funny. Yeah. So the fist gloves, I think they made them popular, or they were like really, I don't know if they were invented by total immersion, but they were a really big thing in total immersion is the
Mhm.
fist drill. And then, so the gloves, I don't know if total immersion like made them and sold them or if somebody else did, but it forced you to keep a fist because it was a round glove over your fist and they're
Mhm.
rubber. So you put them on and then you can't move your fist even if you wanted to.
Mhm.
So you can't cheat. All right. What's the third one that you love?
Um, Again, another one of my signature drills. The fist drill is not my signature drill, but it's called the underwater doggy paddle drill, and it just focuses on your underwater pull. It's a hard one to demonstrate, but it's something that you want to keep your fingertips below your wrist, below your elbow, all under the water. And then you push underneath your belly button. You push underneath your stomach between your belly button and hip all the way past your thigh. And then you bring your arm back around. And you never at all bring your hands out of the water. So it's just an underwater pull focused drill.
Yeah.
Again, I
So
think an underrated drill. I've never seen coaches except of recent do this type of drill. They call it something else, but it does the same thing. It just is specific to your underwater pull.
yeah. So that's one of my very favorite drills I do with people. And what I tell how I describe it. So if you guys aren't watching us, you're just listening and you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So it's kind of like doggy paddle. So that's why she's
That's
like,
why I call it the underwater doggy paddle drill.
exactly. So if you think about your arms going doggy paddle, and then instead of like small in front of your face, you stretch one arm out all the way over your shoulder, like straight out from your shoulder, and then pull it all the way down. So your arm is straight, like Wendy said, and then the other arm is coming back at the same time. Some people call it, I've seen it called long dog.
Hmm.
Long dog because it's like a long dog paddle.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to make sure if your elbow stays right up at the surface of the water as you pull down, that'll really help your pull. And I even have, when I teach people to swim who have never swam in their life and I'm teaching them from square one, I still have them do this drill. They don't understand why. It feels weird. It feels awkward because they don't know how to swim at all. But I tell them, let's start teaching your body the muscle memory of what your arms are going to be doing under the water once you learn to swim. So then once they learn to swim, their body will already know this is how you pull underwater.
And something to add to that, this underwater pull drill, you will feel yourself driving your hip rotation every time you pull.
Yeah, because when
So a
you're
lot of
reaching,
times people think of hip rotation, they think of shoulder rotation. It's confusing. They think of it as again, this is very common that I've seen is you rotate, that's going to help you go faster. But if you don't move your arms and you just rotate, you're not going to go anywhere.
no,
It's the underwater pull that drives that hip rotation.
right. And it makes it so that, like Wendy said, it drives the rotation. So it makes you have to reach further to get to pull your body past your arm. And so it automatically makes you rotate and complete your stroke.
Right.
Because I've worked with a lot of people, their stroke, they'll do like 40 strokes for a 25 because their stroke is so short.
Right.
So this drill actually teaches you, like Wendy said, you push your hand past.
Lengthen from behind.
Yep. And so it's like all your arm is straight behind you before you pull it up.
Yep.
And it makes your arm stronger because you have to recover more quickly because the other arm's already pulling down.
Right.
So I love that one too. I use that on, like I said, even people that are just learning to swim. I don't teach them how to kick. I don't teach that. That's one of the very first things I have them do. And I have them keep their head out of the water. So that way, even if breathing is the hard part, because a lot of adults that I teach who are just learning to swim, or even triathletes that have maybe done a sprint and it took everything out of them, they don't know how to breathe yet. You could do this drill with your head out of the water.
Or with a snorkel.
I do it with a snorkel. There's no way I want to keep my head out of the water ever if I don't have to. I do everything with a snorkel. We could talk about our favorite swim equipment too. So the 3 drills I love are sculling. And there's probably 20 different ways that you can scull. You could do a front skull with your arms overhead. You could do a side skull with your elbows up at the surface of the water, a tricep skull with your hands back, kind of doing like you do a tricep press in the gym. All of these definitely are easier with a snorkel, just FYI. You can skull on your back with your arms by your side. And sculling it teaches you feel for the water, and it teaches you how to move your body in different ways. So it teaches you, okay, if I pull my hand this way, I'm going to move forward. If I pull my hand, like if it's palm down, if I push myself palm up, it's going to move me backwards. So sculling gives you a really good feel for the water, and it also strengthens your swimming muscles. One thing that you want to make sure, when I have people scull, I can also tell if their hands need a little adjustment, because when I grew up learning how to swim, it was very popular to have you cup your hands in little like cups, like when you wash your face and you fill your hands with water. And now they're saying, open your hands a little bit to make a bigger paddle. So you're not spreading your fingers, sprawling them out, but just where they would naturally fall. If you just like opened your hands, like to wave to somebody, that's your paddle. And so when you squeeze your hand into little cups, little half circles, that makes your paddle really small so you can't pull as much water. So I feel like sculling helps with all those things.
Yeah, and kids are taught to scoop. That freestyle, they scoop. So the scooping is that closing your
Ice cream
fingers.
scoop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
because
teaches
a
them
lot
that.
of people call that scooping.
Yep.
And so, if they grow up and they still think that's a thing, once they get to where they really want to propel themselves past their arm, you need to open your hands a little bit. So that's what sculling really helps with that, from what I've seen. And then the other one I like, because I was going to say the underwater drill that Wendy does. That's one of my favorites. Also one arm. So one arm freestyle I like because it teaches you to keep the other arm overhead. So it's almost like you're doing catch up each time with that arm. So it keeps one arm overhead and the other arm does freestyle. And the other thing I like about it is you can watch. So when you breathe, you can watch, let's say you're doing right arm only, you can watch your fingertips enter before your elbow, and you can watch as you pull your arm past and your elbow stays high because you're on your side watching that one arm.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like that. A lot of people, their elbow enters too early, but they don't know that till they have somebody watching them. And then you're like, oh, you're dropping your elbow. And they're like, I don't know what that means. And I've tried doing like fingertip drag, but then they still drop it at the end. Like they still drag their finger with their elbow low.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tried like thumb slide. I've tried like rainbow arms. I've tried a bunch of different things. And the thing that I found works the best is when they do single arm, because then they can watch it and they're like, oh, wow, I didn't know my elbow was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And with a snorkel, it's even easier because then you don't have to worry about like turning your head or anything. You could just put the snorkel in, breathe normally, and just kind of look up and watch your arm enter the water.
Mm-hmm.
And then kicking on the side, just kicking flutter kick on your side is the other one that I think is really valuable because it teaches balance on your side. So when you come up to breathe, you don't have to use that top arm to try to balance and pull down too soon. So those are my 3. It was actually 4 because I do love the underwater drill.
I know I have a lot more, but
I know. Well, and it's hard. Like Wendy and I both, we have 100 drills in our head. And when we watch somebody swim, we pick the drills that are going to help that specific person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to just be like, oh, but I really think everyone would benefit from the drills that Wendy and I just said.
Right. And I've offered, and I've done this probably my whole life, free, well, since we started video, probably since 2020, when I really started doing video, I offer free swim analysis. So if anyone wants me to do a quick swim analysis for them, send me a video or send me a message, and then I'll tell you how to record the video and you can send it to me. Normally, if someone tells me their pace per 100, I know what they need to work on.
Right.
So, like I said in the beginning, I have a swim program called Swimming Made Easy with over 101 swim workouts. I actually have a program called Swim Faster in 30 Days. These are both online programs. But I think the best way to learn how to swim is to get a local coach to watch you on deck and to do video analysis locally.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so much more valuable because then because people have sent me videos like from the side and that was it. And I'm like, well, I want it from the front. That's why Wendy said, like, reach out and say, I want you to do a swim analysis. And then we could be like, okay, here's the different angles we need so that we can see everything.
Yep.
So the other thing I wanted to mention about drills, because a lot of times I'll work with triathletes who want to improve their swimming or try to go longer or more efficient or faster. And when I meet them, I ask them right away, what drills are you already doing? Because I want to know what they know and what they've already been working on. And it could be they found a drill on YouTube and they think they're doing it correctly, but they need eyes from deck to be like, no, you're not doing it correctly. Most of the time they say none, no drills. And I just explain to people, and I do this for myself as well. The best swimmers in the world are Olympic swimmers, right? There's no argument, right? The best swimmers in the world, Olympic swimmers, they're the cream of the crop or professional swimmers or, or like top collegiate swimmers. I guarantee pretty much every single high-end swimmer, professional, high collegiate swimmer, they're doing half their workout, some sort of drill. They don't just go and get in the water and start swimming 10,000 freestyle. They're doing drills. They're working parts. They're doing early vertical forearm work. They're doing kick work. They're doing pull work. They're doing all these drills, and they're the best swimmers in the world. So if the best swimmers in the world are doing drills, let's say they're doing 30, 40% of their workout is drills, then us non-best swimmers, we should be doing even more drills.
Right. I think the best use of drills is in your warm-up.
Yeah.
So when you do the drills and you focus on the drills that are going to help you with your technique limiter, then you want to incorporate that focus while you're swimming your main set.
Yes.
And doing drills for the sake of doing drills might not help you unless they're specifically to help you improve your technique limiter.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of drills that you may learn in a master swim program because you're doing a group workout. Of course, you're there for master swimming. You're there to do what the coach on deck, if you have one, is helping you do, but it may not help you improve because you may not be limited by that technique focus. Right. And so again, having your swim analyzed, going to a local on deck coach is really the best way to improve. And again, the swim analysis, I've helped hundreds of athletes online, not even in person. I started in person and then I moved to Georgia. So it's been mostly online.
Right.
Is just really super helpful.
Yeah.
It's still worth your time. And now again, going into December, everyone's still in their off season, out of season. Maybe they have been, maybe they're just starting it right now. But the fall and winter is the best time to really focus on that swimming and make it your strength.
Yes. I just had, so I started coaching masters at Lifetime, like a month and a half ago, I think. And one of my athletes I've been coaching online, she's a member there. And when I first started coaching her, I did a couple swim sessions for her, gave her the drills that would help her. But that was the last time I physically saw her. And she's been working on these drills. Well, I was like, I'm coaching now, come to masters, let me check you out. She had been doing, so this is almost a year because this was in January when I started coaching her. She had been doing those drills, but most of them incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I explained them to her. I showed them to her in person and then sent her on her way. And so if you are going to work with a coach or have somebody analyze your technique, make sure you do some follow up with them as well.
Mhm.
And if you're not 100% sure, so the reason I even I just assumed she was doing them all correctly because she never asked me any questions about them.
Right.
I'd be like, how are they going? She's like, great. This one's really hard. And I'm like, yeah, that's a hard drill. Well, when she came to masters, in her warm up, her first 25, which just so you guys know, most people, their first 25 is pretty awesome. She did like 40 strokes in 25 meters. And
Uh-huh.
I was like, what's going on? So she was doing these really short, bringing her hand up, like basically at her chest,
Uh-huh.
not even at her hip. And I was like, what about this drill? And one of them was that underwater pull drill. And she had been doing it like more like little doggy paddle, like bringing it up
Mhm.
short. And so I, showed her that and she was like, oh, I've been doing it wrong the whole time. And I was like, ah, what made me think of that is I said, she goes, so basically I'm starting over. I go, that's okay. Her race isn't until July of next year. She has 7 months, 8 months.
And she's not starting over because now she knows what not to do.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it reminded me when you're like, this is your off season. Perfect. You guys don't wait until April. If your race is in June, don't wait until April to come to me, come to Wendy and say, hey, I need help with my swim technique. Do it now because in April, you're going to be biking a lot. You're going to be running a lot and you're going to be tired. And so you won't want to, you won't be able to focus on these drills like you can this month.
Mhm.
So what are some of your swim success stories that you've had with either athletes or anyone um, over the years?
Well, again, with the posting on Instagram, I post a lot of my athlete success stories over the years. One in specifically, his name's Brian. He out of season, probably 3 years ago, he did my Swim Faster in 30-day program because he was frustrated because he's gone to numerous master's programs, et cetera, and he wasn't improving. So he sent me a swim video. He was around a 220 per 100 swimmer. He sent me a swim video. I sent him an analysis. My analysis gave him specific drills. He purchased my 30-day program and he dropped 20 seconds per 100 in 30 days.
That's
And in that
awesome.
program, I have you do a baseline test in the beginning and at the end. And in just 30 days, it's a 4 to 5 day a week swim program. So that's part of it is swimming frequency. And he dropped 20 seconds. So that was a really success
That's
story. And the same thing
huge.
with an athlete I currently coach now. Before I met her in 2023, she wanted to swim under 7.5 minutes for a 500 yard. 7.5 minutes for a 500 yard is pretty fast. Or maybe she was at a 740 and she wanted to swim under 730. She's a pretty strong swimmer, but she just needed a few little tweaks here and there. Again, she sent me a swim video and I didn't know her. She was just on my newsletter, so she knew about me. She purchased my program, did the 30-day program, and she got down to a 720 per 100 swim
Ooh,
success with
nice.
that program. And then an athlete I coach, I've coached him for about a year and a half. His first swim video he sent to me, no cap, no goggles. He was swimming in an outdoor pool. It was probably like 16 meters long.
Was his head out of the
His
water?
head was out of the water. He was flailing. He couldn't swim. So the first thing I recommended was cap and goggles, gave him some swim drills. And 4 months later, he did a 70.3. He survived. He actually did pretty good. I think his pace was like, he went from like not being able to swim
Right.
to pretty proficient at like a 145 per 100 pace. And since then, he's joined a master's program where he lives called Tower 26, which I love those guys. They have the same philosophy as I do. They're based in California and he swims with them. And now he's like swimming under 130 per 100. And
Nice.
this is in like 2 years, like going from like can't swim
Can't swim at
to
all.
improving a lot with online coaching to getting some on deck coaching, improving that much more. So it
Right.
doesn't take long. And I see people struggle because they don't want to invest. It
Yeah.
does cost some money. It does cost a little investment to get coaching, but they don't want to invest and then they struggle and then they don't finish their swim in their
Yeah.
race because they panic because they're
Yeah.
not comfortable. If you're not comfortable in the pool, I guarantee you're not going to be comfortable in the water.
Or they don't make the cutoff.
Or
the
they don't
swim
make the
cutoff.
cutoff.
Because a lot of races, you guys, if you're just new to the sport of triathlon, a lot of races have a cutoff for the swim.
Yeah.
So, and if you don't make the cutoff, you don't get to keep racing. You're pulled off the course and you're
You're pulled off
done.
the course. Yeah.
So all that biking and running that you worked so hard on and you avoided the swimming till the last minute, it didn't even help you because you didn't even get past the swim.
I know. And unfortunately, I had a guy, fortunately, he bought my, I started doing out of season, 12-week out of season swim coaching last October of 2024. So October, November, December, 12-week program. Things were going great. And then something happened, setbacks, life happened. I lost touch with him and he didn't swim. And fortunately for him, he did Ironman California, which is a downstream swim, but he didn't train, so he didn't make the bike cutoff. So he ended up getting pulled. And the only reason he barely made the cutoff, and it was downstream. So he was making some progress, but then he had to stop swimming or whatever reason he chose to stop swimming. It doesn't matter. If you're not keeping up with consistency in the water, frequency trumps everything in the pool.
Yeah.
10 minutes a day, most days of the week is better than one time a week for an hour.
That's what I tell.
Frequency and
Yep.
feel of the water is so important.
That's my number one advice that I would give to anyone, especially when I'm teaching people, even because I teach a lot of people. I work in a swim school. And so I have a lot of adults that call the swim school who don't know how to, like, they're terrified of water. They're not trying to do a race. They just want to learn how to tread water, elementary backstroke, some survival skills. So I actually work with many, many adults. And their goal is just to, like, I'm going to Hawaii on vacation and my family wants to snorkel and I'm terrified of the water. I have 3 months to get comfortable in the water. And the first thing I ask is, do you have a pool that you can practice at daily? Because it is more important to get in 4 to 5 times a week for 10 to 15 minutes than to go once a week for an hour.
Mhm.
Once a week for an hour is not going to help with these drills. It's not going to help you get a feel for the water, get comfortable in the water, get confident in the water. You need exactly what Wendy said. Frequency is, in my opinion as well, the most valuable thing that you can invest in if you want to be a better swimmer.
Time in the water. Frequency,
Yeah.
drills for your technique limiter, workout prescription, making sure you're doing the correct volume and training load based on your current ability and fitness and time available to train, and frequency
Yeah.
based on time available to train. Sure, I know it's easy for me. I work at a gym. I've worked at a gym my whole life. But you just gotta prioritize it and have a strong why and get in the pool.
Yeah. And one thing, so to go back to our whole diswimber, even after a week of me swimming every day, because I typically swim like 3 days a week during the, like, all year round. I make a priority to get in 3 days a week. If it's a great week and I don't have my daughter for the weekend, it'll be 4 or 5. If it's a super busy week, because even though I work at gyms, like, you still have to change into your swimsuit, get in the water, rinse off. Like, swimming, we know it's more logistics than putting on your shoes and going for a run. That's why you have to make time for it and make it a priority. But even in December, even after me swimming 7 or 8 days in a row, when I get in for that 8th or 9th day and start my warm up, I'm like, holy cow, I feel like a Olympic swimmer. Like, I feel so good and I feel so confident because it's been 7 or 8 days in a row. And I typically don't do that.
Yeah.
And that's why Wendy said by the time Christmas Eve comes around, she'll be ready for that 100 hundreds.
Yep.
Because she's
It's
going
just
to
gonna take
start
me
in
a few.
early
It's just gonna take
December.
me a few weeks of getting more consistent in the pool because I've swam probably twice since my triathlon September 6th.
Yeah.
But I know, because I'm a strong swimmer, I know it doesn't take much for me to get back to be where I want to be.
Right. I wanted to just mention, because I do work with a lot of beginners who aren't wanting to swim. They're just wanting to be safe and comfortable in the water. That if you're listening to this and you're not an athlete, but you're like, I want to learn to swim, or I wish I was comfortable in the water, but I'm already 75. Like, what's the point? I have helped several, I don't know how many, 12, 15, 20 people over the years who were terrified of water. comfortable enough to go on vacation and not freak out if they're snorkeling or hanging out at the beach or even just tooling around in deeper water or going out on a boat or anything without a life vest. So just know, you guys, it's possible. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh, I wish I learned to swim when I was younger because now it's too late. It's not. I worked with this woman in her 80s. She didn't even, because she's afraid, she didn't like the feel of water on her face, like even a splash on her face. And I said, well, what do you do when you're in the shower? And she said, I use a washcloth. She's never even put her face in the shower before.
Oh,
And I
wow.
was like, I was blown away because I'm like, who doesn't put their face? That's how terrified she was. She washes her
Oh,
face with a washcloth. So I even had her practice. It sounds silly, but she couldn't get to a pool all the time and she's terrified. I'm like, start taking a bath. And she was like, okay. Like she was nervous just to take a bath. But I
wow.
had her start taking a bath to get more, to get in the water more,
Mm-hmm.
get more. And, and anyway, after I think I worked with her for about 6 months. She even brought her snorkel because she was trying to snorkel with her grandkids in, I forgot where, but she bought a snorkel, brought it in. We practiced in the pool with her snorkel. She was able to snorkel on her vacation 6 months later
Mm-hmm.
after never have putting her face in the water in her whole life. So you guys, there's anywhere you want to go with swimming, there's a way to get there. You just have to make it a priority.
So my very first adult lesson, I had taught classes in college as a graduate teaching assistant to college kids, but my very first adult swim lesson was in 2000. My friend Michelle wanted to do triathlon. And so she needed to learn how to swim, and I never taught an adult. And she was so scared of the water. I needed to teach her how to float, put her
Mm-hmm.
face, get her face wet, blow bubbles. That I would throw my keys like I would for 6-year-old kids, and she'd have to go fetch them. I had to backtrack and teach her like she was 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to do what she was doing to figure out what she was doing and to figure out how to progress her. And
Yeah.
so it's an interesting to teach an adult who was scared of the water, who didn't know how to swim. And she ended up doing her first sprint a couple months later. And then I have another lady, again, same thing, scared of the water. Oh my gosh, scared of the pool. Once we got her comfortable in the pool, freaked out in open water. But at 12 months later, she did an Ironman.
Yeah.
So, I mean, going from fear of the water to an Ironman in 12 months, it's not
That's
that much
amazing.
time. That's pretty
It's
incredible.
awesome.
Even just going from fear of the water to a sprinter distance triathlon is pretty awesome in a couple months.
Right. I actually just started working with this guy about a month ago, and he's like, I want to learn to swim, but I just can't breathe in the water. And we hear this all the time because you get out of breath and you freak out and then you get anxiety and then you keep your head out of the water and then it makes it all harder. And I was like, okay, well, let's meet at the pool. He bought this 3-session package and I'm like, okay. And he goes, well, I was thinking we could meet on land first and go over breathing technique.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, nope, you're trying to get comfortable in the water. We're going to put you in the water. I'm not going to throw them in the deep end, but
Right.
we're going to practice these breathing things standing in the water. And we're going to get
Right.
you moving in the water. You don't have to put your face in right now, but let's put some fins on you and a kickboard and get you moving through the water, because you have to dissolve this anxiety and this fear. And a lot of times just feeling safe in the water helps, but you're never going to feel safe in the water until you get into the water.
Right.
So he was like, oh yeah, that's a good point. So, but, and that one other thing I want to mention, and then we can wrap up, is if you are just learning swimming, the piece of equipment that I would recommend, the very first, if you have no equipment other than goggles 100% is first, is get a set of fins. And don't get those short little fitness fins that make you have to work really hard to kick. Get the long swim fins, not scuba fins. Those are too long. There's some in the middle that are called swim fins. Get the long swim fins, put them on your feet, and start to move through the water. It's going to help your ankle flexibility, which is a huge aspect of being able to kick correctly. It's going to move you through the water without you getting so out of breath that you have to stop every 10 feet. And it's going to help you be able to focus on some of these drills without getting so fatigued that you can't focus on the drill. So swim fins are going to help these drills and your learning to swim process be a lot easier and more comfortable.
Mhm.
Do you have
I
any
agree.
other equipment that you're like, gotta have?
I mean, it just depends on the person. I work with a lot of adults who are comfortable in the water, but they have no balance. So sticking a pull buoy
Hmm.
between their thighs and also sometimes between their ankles helps them get a feel for what it's like not to have their lower body drag and to work on balance. Because a lot of times when they do put the buoys in and their legs are afloat, they feel out of balance because they're so used to dragging their legs.
Hmm.
And if they have inflexible ankles because they come from a running background, if you have inflexible ankles, that is going to limit your balance and your ability to keep your heels on the surface of the water. So sometimes just getting the buoy and the fins. I mean, I think both of those are great. A lot of people do have success with a snorkel. The reason I like a snorkel is so someone can keep their head in the water and watch their arms
Hmm.
underneath their body, watch their
Yeah.
pull, take breathing out of the equation. But I'm someone who's never been comfortable with a snorkel, so I don't use snorkels.
Yeah.
So it's just something that I sometimes will suggest and offer it to say this will take breathing out of the equation if you can breathe through a snorkel and you can just watch your arms. And some adults can do it, some adults can't. My youth swimmers always can do it, so they don't have a
Yeah.
problem with a
Kids
snorkel.
don't, when you introduce snorkels to kids when they're 8, 9 years old, it's no big deal. And they just grow up in their program using snorkels. But as an adult, 'cause I started using mine, I think about 5 or 6 years ago. And no, it's 2017. So I guess now that's 8, 9 years ago.
Uh-huh.
But it was a little hard for me to get used to, but now I use a snorkel all the time. I scull a lot. I use snorkel for all my sculling drills, my single arm drills, the underwater drill. So that, like Wendy said, take breathing out of the equation. It was imperative before I had my neck surgery, my neck hurt all the time it hurt all the time anyway, but swimming, it still hurt. Using a snorkel, it kept my head in one position. And so I could swim a lot easier when I had the snorkel. I could do a 4,000, 5,000 swim when I had the snorkel, and it didn't exacerbate my neck
Mhm.
issues.
Yeah, it's really good for body alignment.
Yeah. Any final words?
Just get in the pool and keep us posted. Let
Get
us
in
know
the
how it's
pool.
going.
Yeah. And let us know. Wendy and I both offer lessons. If you're local to either one of us, we both offer. Wendy just mentioned like 5 different online programs, and let us know if you want an online analysis. And we're both here to help you guys swim. You guys can
Mhm.
swim. I know 90-year-olds who swim every single, like 3 days a week, every single week, because it's so much more gentle on your body than some other sports.
I get the question. I would do a triathlon if I knew how to swim. And I said, you know me, I can teach you.
Right. You're like, why are you telling me that? Don't you know me?
Yeah.
um, So sorry, Joey. What are you most excited about for this upcoming week?
My last race of the season is December 6th at Holland Canyon State Park. So I'm really looking forward to that.
I know I'm so excited because you've been crushing so much. I'm excited for you to just have like the best race ever.
Yeah, me too. And then I'm actually looking forward to saying, okay, it will be time to get in the pool because even though like Kirsten is like takes a break and she does swim a lot, swimming a lot for us is a lot of recovery more than it is taxing on our bodies
Yes.
compared to a non-swimmer. So I will be swimming a little bit more frequently, more for recovery, and it just feels good. And I'll probably maintain like 1,000 to 2,000 most days of the week. I'm not going to do any epic swims except my holiday swims. Um, Maybe I'll do 2 or 3 of those 100 or 100s, depending on if I join other groups. But otherwise, it's just going to be 1,000 or 2,000 really easy recovery stuff with fins. With fins
Yeah.
is a non-negotiable for me. And, I know other strokes. So we know other strokes. So we're able to like go longer because we know more variety of strokes that keep us entertained and keep us in the water longer.
Yeah. I can't remember. I did a couple times this summer. I rarely swim with no equipment. I mean, rarely, like a couple times a year. Like every once in a while I'm like, I'm going to do a no equipment swim. And 2,000 later, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was exhausting. So I'm the same way as Wendy. I use fins when I warm up. I use fins and I alternate kick, drill, swim per 100. Sometimes I throw in some other strokes. I'll do a kick, drill, swim 75s of each stroke. So 1,200 just went by and I'm going nice and easy, long, stretching it out with my fins. That helps my feet, ankles stay flexible. It helps my calves and shins recover from maybe running, stretches out my hips. And then I'll do breaststroke kick for like a 200 or 300 because that opens up my hips. That feels really good on my lower back. I'm not racing. I'm not doing any intervals here. I just did 1,500 and it was all for recovery. I do side stroke every single cool down now. That's what I've been doing all year. So side stroke opens up my hips, stretches out the sides of my body, and I'll do one side and then the other side on the way back. I'll do that for a 200. That's my cool down. It's side stroke.
Nice.
So, all right. Well, if you guys have any questions or want to know more about any of the swim stuff we do or want to join us for December, we're here with open arms.
Yay.
Oh, you guys, don't know it'd be a great challenge if you're not interested in doing these big long challenges, but you are wanting to get better at swimming, is pick a realistic number of days that you could get in December. Like 20, think about it. If you could get in and swim even for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, 20 days in December, that would make a big difference in your swimming.
Absolutely. 30
days every day but Christmas, because it's hard to get into a pool on Christmas unless you work at a private pool like I do. I can go all 365 days a year, but 30 days getting in the pool for 10 or 15 minutes. Ooh, that would be good.
And then get in a cold plunge afterwards.
Yes, I've been cold. Oh, so I have Wendy and I always talk about, like for cold plunge example, we both have been cold plunging and we've mentioned several times, there's evidence that it's amazing for you and there's evidence that it does nothing for you. But for us, it's doing something. And that's why we do it. I've had sciatica issues I hurt myself in jujitsu, big shocker. Like every time I do jujitsu. I ended up later that day just having really bad sciatica. The next day I was at Lifetime and I got in the cold water for 20 minutes, did my cold plunge, got out. I had no pain. None. Until I got in the hot shower, warmed back up and got, I can't be freezing forever. But that time in the cold plunge, I could barely walk into the cold plunge. And when I walked out, I had no pain at all.
I love it.
I know. So I thought I was like, oh yeah, I have to remember to mention that because we talk about, we do it for whatever reason. But that to me is, we talk about cold icing and cold plunge ice baths for inflammation. Sciatica is an inflammation. And I stood 20 minutes in the cold plunge, got out and had no pain at all until maybe 15, 20 minutes later when I took a shower, warmed up and started, got my regular body temperature back.
Yay.
So see you guys in the cold plunge.
Yay.
Awesome. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Thank you. Make it a great day.
All right. Bye guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten.
If you want to learn more about us or anything we talked about today, check out the links in our show notes.
We would love to know what you think of our podcast and what you want more of. So drop us a comment, send us a message, and help us out by leaving us a rating and a review.
And don't forget to let us know your wellness win for this week.
Thanks for listening.
Make it a great day.